It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth about our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas. But that is not the whole story. That has never been the whole story. Those explorers,
what the f is this piece of shit?
Perpetrating violence, stealing land, and spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past.
I mean, the top line is the 5-point advantage that Kamala Harris had in our last poll is gone. What's behind that shift?
Yeah, exactly, Savannah. I mean, just look at them side by side and you can see it. Remember that poll we took a month ago that you see here? It was just after that first Trump-Harris debate. Since then, we've had the VP debate. There have been some campaign activities, some interviews, some things that have changed in that time. I think this might be the biggest for Harris. We just asked the basic image perception people have. Is it positive or negative of these candidates? The Trump number's always been somewhere in this territory. In fact, this is a little bit high for him, believe it or not, 43% positive. But look at Harris, 43 positive, 49 negative. The significance, we polled this a month ago. She was 48% positive and 45 negative. She was above water, as they say. That's completely reversed. It now looks very similar to Trump's. That's a pretty big shift when you're talking about a race this close. And then there's the weight of the fact she's the VP in an unpopular administration. We asked about President Biden's policies. Are they helping or hurting your family? Just a quarter of voters said they're helping. Nearly half said they're hurting. And then here's the interesting twist. We also asked folks, think back to when Donald Trump was president. Did his policies help or hurt your family? And look at the difference. 44% helping, 31 hurting. Trump's, the retrospective, you would say, opinion of Trump's presidency among voters, arguably higher now than when he was president.
So sure, offer up all the ideas of what more Harris could be doing in these few remaining days before the election. At the same time, it's actually you, the American voter, who needs to step up. Truly look at the choice before us. Listen to Donald Trump's speeches. Truth over lies, democracy versus fascism, or something like that looks like it. Your interests rather than revenge for Donald Trump's ego. The rule of law versus Donald Trump's lawlessness. Kindness versus cruelty. If you are concerned about those things and are worried Harris could very well lose, well, do something. Get to work. As Barack Obama said in Pittsburgh last night, don't just sit back and hope for the best. Vote and help get out the vote. If we care about this experiment called America, the search for a more perfect union that has the possibility of being ever more perfect every day. Don't despair. Don't be discouraged. I mean, you can be, but don't just be. Don't just criticize. And women, I'm talking to you because this is about getting back our 50 years of rights so our daughters can be safe at the doctor.
Panic at the disco, baby. Panic at the disco. These people are freaking. It is now setting in. Now it's just widespread pandemonium. Hair on fire panic. It's delicious. It's absolutely delicious. It's going so far as to basically have YouTube come after some of my videos. I'm going to post about that on Twitter so you can hear what happened to something. But they're pulling out all the stops. They're going to try everything. If it means taking down channels like mine, they are coming out hard because she's tanking. I mean, she is literally the Titanic circling the bowl like the Tidy Bowl guy. It's incredible. Absolutely incredible. To see Mika on Morning Joe act like, she's basically pulling a 4-alarm fire going, you got to do this. You got to do it. If not, we won't be able to have, baby removals.
We know better. We know better than to wait for someone else to get this job done. We're women. We always come through for each other. So
I feel like the Helen Reddy song should be playing in the background. Hear me roar. Hear me roar. Oh, man, it's delicious. You can see this all over X What a I mean, it's Monday. It only just Monday. And already it's like everything has hit the fan at the same time.
Let's not miss this opportunity to step up for women, for families across the United States of America. And if you're frightened by the option of Donald Trump, don't just talk about all the things you think the Harris camp is doing wrong. Get to work. I know women will.
You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an...
Okay, I got to stop this. You're going to love this. All right, so you saw what they did with Barack Obama last week, and they brought him out there, and he basically threatened black guys and said, if you ain't... He basically echoed what Joe said. If you ain't voting for Kamala, you ain't black. And unfortunately, this time, people got their eyes open, and they're like, hey, Obama, you can stick that. So they dusted off, you know, Dirty Bill, and they brought him out there. You're not going to believe what this man said.
About a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened.
He's out there stumping for Kamala, and as he's stumping for Kamala, he's actually helping Trump. You know, if they had, you know, vetted these people, then this woman wouldn't, you know, she'd still be here. And I'm sure Kamala's people are like, shut up, Ixnay. What are you saying? Because, of course, watch what happens next.
But if they're all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen, and America is not having enough babies to keep our populations up.
So one of the reasons we need to have all these newcomers is because Americans aren't having enough babies, and we need these slaves to come in and work for nothing. Oh, and by the way, you know how you could probably keep the population up in America? Stop advocating baby removals. The mere fact that you people in one breath say, hey, listen, we have to be able to dispose of as many babies as possible. Then in the next breath go, hey, we're not getting enough people having kids, so we need to bring in newcomers. Anyone else find that to be sort of like Twilight Zone stuff? Oh, Americans aren't having enough babies because we're helping them get rid of them. Oh, so because they're getting rid of so many babies, go look up the number yourself, we need to bring in these newcomers because they work really cheap. And because they work really cheap, we can just bring them in. Also, they'll vote for us too. So we can't take a chance that you might have some baby that might grow up to be MAGA. So no, we'll just import these people because you're not having enough babies, and because we're also disposing of them, and we're also doing other stuff with them. And these people here will work for dirt cheap. So what if they take over a couple apartment complexes? What do you complain about? This is America. It's a land of opportunity. They found an opportunity.
So we need immigrants that have been vetted to do work. There wouldn't be a problem.
A few moments later.
You had a case in Georgia not very long ago, didn't you? They made an ad about a young woman who'd been killed by an immigrant. Yeah, well, if they'd all been properly vetted, that probably wouldn't have happened. But if they're all properly vetted, and that doesn't happen...
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I approve this message.
Oh my God. His team must have been drooling. His team must have got up there and said, wait a minute, did he just say what I think he said? And the people in the office are like, yes, sir, he just said that. Oh, you need to make that an ad. What would you like us to do? Nothing. Just tag me at the end. I am Donald J. Trump, and oh yeah, I approve this message. Because this simpleton, who they dusted off to come out here, just said everything I've been saying for the last couple years. Thank you, Bill Clinton. That is running everywhere. Bill Clinton went out and said everything Trump has been saying, everything every one of us have been saying, and he stepped right in it. I could not believe he got that gift. However, that gift was probably only exceeded by this gift, because this woman is an absolute freaking moron. On Columbus Day, with Pennsylvania being one of the, as they say, battleground states, with all of the Italians in Pennsylvania, with all of the Italians in New York. This woman decides to go out and record and release this video on Columbus Day. Who is advising her?
It is an honor, of course, to be with you this week as we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day, as we speak truth about our nation's history. Since 1934, every October, the United States has recognized the voyage of the European explorers who first landed on the shores of the Americas.
She couldn't even say his name. She could not say Christopher Columbus with the Nina da Pinta and the Santa Maria. You know, we all learned that. She couldn't even utter this Italian's name.
But that is not the
Maybe Spaniard.
whole story. That has never been the whole story.
You see, America, you Americans, you people here, don't understand that your country was founded wrong. You know, this guy didn't discover America. No, she's going to tell you how it really went down.
Those explorers ushered in a wave of devastation for tribal nations, perpetrating violence, stealing land.
I'm not sure if she's read any history. Maybe she should go back and read. I understand from people her IQ might not be that big. But I've got two things for her. What do you think the so-called indigenous people were doing before the so-called Europeans got here? Yeah, they were wasting each other. I can't even tell you the word in what way they were doing that. The second thing I've got to ask her, and we could probably go all the way back, maybe to Crusades, even back, I don't know, you can go into caveman. The only way, zero, no other way. The only way you planted a flag and became XYZ country, the only way, is that you decided you were going to conquer that country. And when you conquered that country, you stuck your flag in the ground, and as Ricky Gervais used to say, you don't have one of these, do you? And now you all work for me and do what I need to do because we planted our flag. We have conquered you. Go ahead. You know, you always talk about Africa. Tell me which of those African countries that, she likes to herald. Tell me which one of these African countries were sovereign from day one. The land didn't just reappear. Hey, there's a new land. We need some people who live here. Every single country, every single nation became a nation because they went, you know what? I think we could take those guys. I really think, they got better coconuts and, the fishing is really good over there. And the land is fertile. And they got some hot chicks. So here's what I say we do. I say we have the guys go out with the bows and arrows and tell them, you now work for me. I mean, it's not quite like The Sopranos, but it was like The Sopranos back in the day. You showed up. If you were bigger, stronger, faster, could do different things, the other people waved the white flag and said, you're right. I want to be ruled by you. And she's trying to make America feel like we're different. This isn't how it was here. You should know better.
And spreading disease. We must not shy away from this shameful past. And we must shed light on it and do everything we can to address the impact of the past on Native communities today.
Well, just exactly how do you want to do that? I know my boys down here got casinos everywhere. They're rolling. They're good. They're really happy. But how are you going to take 200 plus years of American history and go, you know what, you were wrong. Now we need to pay those guys reparations. Everybody get in line. Everybody get a check. You want some? You want some? You want some. Okay. Everybody get some. This is a woman who is running to be the president of the United States and telling the world 2 weeks before an election that this country, we did some stuff and we can't have it that way. And by the way, you Italians, I'm sorry. I know you used to recognize this as Columbus Day. No, it's not that anymore because you people were vile and what you did was wrong. So no, it's no longer Columbus Day, it's Indigenous People Day. What are the Italians supposed to do? As far as I know, a lot of people had the day off up north, and it was, because of Columbus Day. Nobody's walking around going, hey, hey, did you know it was Indigenous People Day today? No, I did not know that, Fred. I almost feel like she's intentionally losing this election. Because the moves she's making and the people around her are making are complete idiots. To the point where Trump just has to sit back and go, okay, whatever she does today, let's just go ahead and make that an ad. Let's just show people how much of an idiot she is. Let me show you something. Where's this? I want to show you this. Tonight is not a rally. Tonight is a town hall where there's only going to be maybe 30 minutes of questions. Trump will come out and talk like he usually does. He'll talk and play around with the audience maybe for 30 minutes. Then he's going to take 30 minutes of questions, and then that's it. I'm done. No rally. But if you, like me, aren't there in Pennsylvania tonight, you would know that these people don't realize it's not a rally. That is who showed up to go to a town hall meeting. That is the crowd that met Donald Trump today to go to a town hall meeting, not a rally. Just to be there to get a glimpse of this man. It's insane. Hey guys, you realize this is an auditorium because what he's really going to be doing is just talking to a few people. He's not really, doing his normal speech. We don't care we're there. Also, if you didn't know, Oaks, Pennsylvania is about half an hour outside of Philadelphia. So it's right there. Right there. I mean, just crazy right there. Things are moving so fast that they can't keep up with them. So much so that, let me show you some more circling the bowl activity, because right at this point, all they have is lies. So listen to this one.
Out there, I really have enjoyed it. But that aside, we got to talk about what's happening right now. So what I just showed a clip from Harris. It was pretty tough what she said yesterday. You've said you want to see more of that or things like that. What do you think of what she said, and what do you want to see more of?
I liked it a lot. Just think of what we learned in the last 48 hours. We had General Flynn say that the gates of hell are going to rain on Trump's enemies when he wins. We had General Milley say that he's the fastest to his core. We heard Trump on Fox this morning said he was going to use the military to round up his political enemies.
Lie, lie, and lie. At this point, they've resorted to just full-on lies, just say whatever they have to say to brainwash. Forget the left. At this point, I've mentioned to you many a times, you're 20 days away. Your respective camps are baked in. People are going to vote for Trump, they're in. People are going to vote for Kamala, they're in. You've got to convince the people who that small group of people who at this point have taken their time and they're not really sure what they want to do. It's very small. And you're telling all these people, this very small group, lies. You've got nothing to sell them except lies, and you wonder why you're circling the bowl. When you have nothing to offer, and understand that every single one of these people can fact check you themselves, well, I'm going to fact check you for you, okay?
Trump has announced that he will be giving a speech at Madison Square Garden on October the 27th. Please Google Madison Square Garden, February the 10th, 1939, and see what happened there. They are telling you exactly what they're going to do.
1939. So you're talking, basically a long time ago. Maybe the people on the left can't do math, but that was, right about when World War II started happening. It's a long time ago. a very, very, very long time ago, nearing 100 years ago, back when that guy with the funny mustache named Adolf was doing things. And James Carville reached back into history and said, you know, they were talking about that stuff in New York back then. What? How much of a brain-dead moron do you have to be to tie that together?
They're telling you we're going to institute a fascist regime, and the press and all the Alan Dershowitz wannabes out there, but James, she should have gone to the Al Smith dinner, really. She doesn't do enough long-form interviews.
This is on a national television broadcast. They brought this guy out there, and she's in Peppermint Patty's just like, Chuck.
Now, I'm so sick of these people. The entire Constitution is in jeopardy. The Supreme Court and Clarence Thomas have totally green-lighted the idea that you could use the military to round up your political enemies. And the whole, I am...
They sound worried, don't they? They sound completely freaked out.
Fair and more truth-telling than anybody else because it's making a giant fool of itself right now.
We love the truth-telling. Listen, I don't think...
On an embassy set, Peppermint Patty just went, we love truth-telling. After listening to this man vomit lies, she actually told the audience, yeah, we love truth-telling.
I think anybody should go to the Al Smith dinner ever, so I'm happy to go to on the record on that one. But I do want to play, you just mentioned this Fox clip from this morning, and I think it's so important for people to see what Trump is saying.
Well, it would be if you actually play what he said. See, that's the thing. You know, it's interesting. People should see what Donald Trump said. But this little 10, 15 second clip that she does isn't exactly what he said.
People may not have seen this, so let's just play it just to make sure people see it.
In terms of election day, I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military, because they can't let that happen.
I mean, he's essentially, to your point, saying the military should be used. And this is, again, he's telling us what he wants to do. This is not us making it up.
Well, actually, Peppermint Patty, it is. And so now Timmy Waltz basically echoes the same thing. Basically, the wrap-up smear. They say it, now you say it.
Donald Trump over the weekend was talking about using the U.S. Army against people who disagree with him.
So I just imagine the people that sit there listen to him are mesmerized zombies.
Just so you're clear about that, that's you. That's what he's talking about. This is not some mythical thing out there. He called it the enemy within.
Meanwhile, nothing surprises me.
All right, so listen to what he actually says. You heard them say, you know, he's going to basically come after you. You're his opposition. He's going to come after you. Listen to what his actual words were.
About that, though, are you expecting chaos on Election Day?
No, I don't think so. Not from the side that votes for Trump.
But I'm just wondering if these outside agitators will start up on Election Day. Let's say you win. I mean, let's remember, you've got 50,000 Chinese nationals in this country in the last couple of years. Yeah. You have people on the terrorist watch list, 350 in the last couple of years. You've got, like you said, 13,000 murderers and 15,000 rapists. Right. What are you expecting? Joe Biden said he doesn't think it's going to be a peaceful Election Day.
Well, he doesn't have any idea what's happening in all fairness. He spends most of his day sleeping. I think the bigger problem is the enemy from...
So everything you just heard to this point was cut on MSNBC. They did not allow anyone to hear what the context of the conversation was about. The conversation was about basically protesters and rioters going berserk. They cut that entire section off, and all they played was what you're hearing right now.
Within, not even the people that have come in and destroying our country. By the way, totally destroying our country. The towns, the villages, they're being inundated. But I don't think they're the problem in terms of Election Day. I think the bigger problem are the people from within. We have some very bad people. We have some sick people, radical left lunatics. And I think they're and it should be very easily handled by, if necessary, by National Guard, or if really necessary, by the military.
See how they twisted that? not only did they twist it, it became their talking point for the day. They took that part, and Tim Walz is out there talking about it, and MSNBC's out there talking about it. They're just vomiting up whatever they want to say, hoping that the people listening to them are too stupid to realize it.
Because they can't let that happen.
Again, he's telling us what he wants to do. This is not us making it up. But the thing I wanted to ask you about, I mean, you know better than anybody, there are kind of seasons in campaigns and messaging. And you and I talked this summer, I remember, when it was kind of in the stage post the Harris taking over the nomination, right around when Walz was picked, where there was this shift to painting Trump and his acolytes as weird, right?
Yeah, that didn't work. You can bring that up again, but we all know that didn't work because, dude, Tim Walz is a weird one.
Not scaring people. But now it seems like you're saying we should go back to scaring people because that's what they need to hear. Is that...
So, did you see the shift now? The shift is, hey, we got 2 weeks. We got to scare the hell out of these people. Forget policy. Forget who's better. We need to scare them and tell them any way we have to that, big bad orange man is coming for you.
What they need in this moment? Or how do you explain the shift, do you think?
Did not realize when I said that he would actually go on television and say, I'm going to use the military to round up my political enemies.
Did you hear him say that? I didn't hear him say that. But the MSNBC audience will never hear what he actually said.
When I said that, General Flynn, who's going to be very senior in this administration, didn't.
He let something slip there. I don't know if Jim Carville's got some inside information, but he said General Flynn is going to be a big inside player. Is Trump going to bring General Flynn on? That would be interesting.
Say that the gates of hell will rain on my political enemies. When I said that, I didn't know that he was going to schedule a rally at Madison Square Garden to mimic the rally of 10 February 1939.
You think that's why Trump scheduled a rally in Madison Square Garden, because he wanted to mimic Adolf? Is that why you think he really did? Or are you just saying that for your audience, which got to be bonkers?
So we have... They're telling you. And by the way, if they win, they're going to correctly say, we told you in the election what we were going to do, and you voted for us. You have green-lighted the whole thing.
Even if Trump did say that, I don't think we'd mind. I don't think there'd be one of us who'd be like, oh, sorry. Yeah, y'all screwed up the country. You screwed with people, and maybe you do need to.
And if we don't tell people about that, if these young black men, how do you think they're...
Oh, you think you're going to scare the blackies. You think people like me are going to be terrified because the orange man thinks he's going to go round people up. So now we hear an ulterior motive here, an additional motive, what they're trying to do. They realize that they have screwed the pooch with the black vote, and so now we got to make Blackie afraid.
Going to do if you're a young black male and Trump inspired army roundup of people, how well do you think you're going to do in that? Do you think?
I think I'm going to do pretty well. You know, because I know he ain't coming for you. I know it's a lie. So what are you talking about?
You got nothing to lose. How about looking at American history for one time and see what can happen here? And they are telling you, we're not making this up.
Yes, you are. You are indeed making it up. The more you try to punctuate that you're not, lends people to understand, that you are. Because if you weren't, you wouldn't have to say that.
This is not, we can be fact-checked by anybody.
I just did. Thank you. Thank you very much. We just fact-checked you. You lied.
Promised military roundup. They promised the gates of hell will rain on the enemies. The Supreme Court has green-lighted it. They were asked a question, if a Navy SEAL is ordered to assassinate a political enemy, the president can't be, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just part of his job. They are telling you they're doing all of this.
If you didn't see that, you wouldn't believe I said it. And on top of that, their candidate is actually out there saying this crap.
The danger of Donald Trump.
What's going on
in terms
with the volume?
Of somebody who
I guess that
has said that they would weaponize the Department of Justice against.
She went out there and said he wants to throw everybody in jail. And people are like, really? You want to throw everybody in jail? Yeah. It just goes on and on and on with these people. It's just a lie after lie after lie. And I don't even understand why they're doing it. And they're getting even more desperate. Even more desperate at this point. This is Christian Welker. To the point where they're trying to dig into the most, I don't know, insignificant of things and make it a big deal. Listen, this is it. When you see this, you have to realize you're watching a news anchor. But you're gonna be confused because it comes across as not a news anchor but a Kamala advocate. Listen to this.
Speaker, that's what people are going to vote on. Just to be very clear, he hasn't released all of his medical records. He released 2 letters. Should he release the results of the cognitive test?
It's unnecessary. He's on display every minute.
So it's unnecessary. You concede that he didn't release his medical.
What am I conceding? You're supposed to be a reporter. Wait, this isn't a battle.
Medical records you don't want to know.
Look at her face. She can't take it. We got to do something.
Know things like his cholesterol level, whether he's dealing with any issue that we may not know about, if he's going to be commander-in-chief. And he also said he would relieve